Okay, so I want to make this video tell you about a story, a legal experience that happened with me, because I just want to have this out there, just because I think it's a great story, and some good lessons, life lessons to learn along the way. First of all, I was out riding middle of the night. That's something that you should never do. Riding at nighttime is never a good thing. Nighttime driving is bad. So you can't see shit. It's good. Shit's just more dangerous because it's nighttime. Shit just gets more dangerous when the moon's out. You know, it's just crazier. And I was leaving from Raleigh, leaving a keg party that was going on a fucking frat house in NC State. And yeah, so this was leaving there probably like 1 or 2 in the morning, and I was coming back to where I was staying over in town where I was at, and yeah, I was driving down the road, and all of a sudden, all I remember was spinning sideways, like a or saw something, reacted to it, and it overreacted in my car. Went spinning sideways, right? Spun out, flew into a ditch. And all I remember was spinning sideways for like a long distance, distance. And good thing, universe fucking willing, good thing I had my tires filled up with a lot of air, because if I didn't have my tires filled with a lot of air, it could have easily flipped over. And just because it was riding a Dodge pickup truck, and I had a little piece of plywood covering up the back of my pickup truck as a shell to make it like so I can have that whole camper shell back there. And it was just a simple thing. And yeah, and so I had that camper shell back there, that little just a piece of plywood, and and I was so I spun out and flew into the ditch, and I had my dog with me, Scrappy, and all I remember is like waking up in the ditch, and the fucking windshield wipers are on. I remember the window busting out, my head smacking against the window, and then I remember my head hitting the hitting the window later, but all I remember was just waking up in the ditch. But I woke up in there, and I was like, all right, and I remember just going, trying to take my key and turn over the engine. I was like, God, start, put it in park. It's like, oh shit, it's not in park. I just gotta put it in park to start the engine. I put it in park, hit the brake, put it in park, and I just try to start, doesn't do nothing. It's just done for. And I remember, damn, I turn off the lights, and fucking, I was like, damn, I gotta fucking get the hell out of here. And I had Scrappy in there, and I totally forgot about Scrappy, and it was just a disastrous experience. And it was, and I remember crawling out of the ditch. It was overgrown grass and sides, real tall weeds, and I was down in it like a Jurassic Park scene. And I remember crawling out of it, and someone's yelling something, hollering, some guys hollering. I've just gone through this relatively violent spin off the road, and careen into a ditch, into a tree, off the side backwards. I hit the tree backwards. Once I spun sideways all the way around, went backwards or some shit, somehow backwards into a tree down in the ditch, and hit my head on the window or whatever. And I remember just getting out and someone screaming some shit. Something, it just sounded like gibberish, like some violent gibberish. It wasn't coherent to me. It doesn't seem coherent. But I was like, all right, whatever. And I was like, fucking. I remember someone was just chasing me, and I was in the mode where is fight or flight, and I was just running because I just had a head energy, so I just fucking ran. I remember someone chasing me. I was like, what the fuck? This motherfucker's chasing me. What the fuck is happening? And I remember just having like pure luck and destiny on my side. That there was a fence. I remember just running straight for this fucking electric fence like I've done it 1,000 times. And I ran straight for the electric fence and jumped over the electric fence. Went to go jump over it as best I could. And, I had I don't know. I jumped over the fucking fence. And, got shocked on the other side because it was a cow fence and there's electric shit on it. And I remember it's hitting me. It pulsing through my whole body. And I remember just trying to get my foot off of it as I was on the other side because it was stuck on there, and I was just like, and it was getting me. I was sitting, I was just like, summon up the power to pull it off. And fucking got over it, and I remember the guy, he's like, I'm jumping over that shit. So it was like I knew that's what I had to do. That's what needed to be done in the situation. And that's what destiny made happen. So it was quite miraculous. Destiny came through. And I was meant to jump over that fence and get electrocuted and get away. Because I ran on the other side and jumped over the other side without electrocuting myself. Well, yeah, I just climbed over as best I could without getting shocked. And then ran straight into the fucking woods, and I started running back through the woods. And apparently, later, I figure out in the story that this guy that was chasing me was a fucking off-duty cop. He heard the violence go, the crazy shit, the tires screeching and all the shit happening outside the whatever the fuck it was. And since he heard all that shit unfolding out there, he decided to come see what was happening. And I just was delirious at the moment and fucking managed to summon up some fucking miraculous miracle of destiny and jumped over an electric fence that he was not willing to risk getting shocked over, because he's like, fuck that shit, I'm out. I don't get paid enough for this shit. And ran out the other side, and I was wandering through the woods, and it was like all a big huge hallucination of craziness, and I was just walking through the woods and walking down the side of the road, and I had no idea where I was at. I thought I was walking towards a direction, and I was not where I thought I was. I had no idea where I was currently once I made it through the woods of this, after I got to the cow field and made it to the woods. I had no idea where I was. I was walking down the middle of a road, totally fucking just distraught because I was concerned about my dogs. At this point, I remember I had my dog there. I had Scrappy with me when I flew off into the ditch. And now I'm worried about Scrappy because I love my dog. And like I love everyone. I love everything. And I'm just walking down the road and I'm just trying to avoid cars because I know that there's probably some fucking crazy shit going on. There's probably gonna be cops looking for me or some shit. Some crazy shit's gonna happen, and because I'm assuming the worst here. Because I'm in like fucked up, weird, distraught mode, and make it through the situation mode. And I don't have my cell phone. I think I left it there, or I don't know, something. And I fucking or my cell phone was dead. It was dead. And I'm walking down the road. I don't know where I'm walking. And anytime I'm seeing headlights, I'm just avoiding them. And this is all in the middle of the night. And I've walked for a couple hours, and it's cold and really crisp. And anytime that I see headlights coming by, I just go down into the ditches, hide in the trees, and avoid anything driving by. Just because I was just freaking out. I had no idea what was going on. And there's fucking there's fucking what do you call it? All sorts of crazy shit unfolding in the process of this, and I'm just worried about my dog. It's like, where the hell? I was just wondering where the hell he could be, and getting ran over by a car, whatever the fuck's happening. I'm just totally distraught, and it's starting to break morning. I'm walking down the road. I'm thinking I'm walking in one direction towards a place where I know, and I don't notice. I don't really know. I see all the buildings and stuff and all the stuff around me. It looks familiar, but I don't know where the hell it's at, and it doesn't make any sense. I feel like I'm in a different universe at this point because I have no idea of what the hell is going on or where I'm at, or which I thought I was walking in one direction. I was walking in the other direction. I was walking in the exact opposite direction of where I thought I was walking. Because I was just trying to make it back because I was so close to the house where I was staying, and I was just trying to make it back there to go to sleep, or to get to my brother and to go find Scrappy and get Scrappy and get shit done. But I'm walking in the wrong direction, and this starting to, because I've been walking for a while, ducking and avoiding cars, just hanging, sitting in the fucking ditches and shit, just trying to get through there, and because I'm not really noticing where the fuck I am. I think I'm in a different fucking world at this point because I have a guy just randomly chasing me, screaming gibberish, and then after I flew off into the ditch, and then now I'm in a place where I don't even recognize anything, where I think I'm walking this way, and there's nothing, it's not showing what should be loading in this area of where I think I'm at, and I was upside down because of hitting my head on the glass window and smashing it. It's probably weakened, obviously, because it probably wasn't just all me, but anyways, the morning starts coming up and there's a morning fog, and I'm just walking down the road. At this point, I'm pretty much crying tears, just worried about my dog. Worried about Scrappy, because that was really all I was concerned about in the moment was Scrappy, because I didn't think nothing of it. I was just like, alright, I just want to get my dog, and I was trying to get people to give me a ride. No one would give me a ride. No one would help me. And eventually, I got someone who helped me. I was bawling in tears on the ground. I told the guys the story. What's happened? I had an accident and I can't find my dog, and I just want to get back to the town I'm at. And I told them that I was in other town. I ended up walking all the way to a town far away instead of going to the town I was supposed to go. So I was in a totally different town, and uh, he drove me into uh, the town I was supposed to go to my where I was staying at my brother's house, and we went. I told him the story. This is early in the morning at this point because it was like 7 o'clock or 7:30 in the morning, and we go try to find Scrappy because that's all I really care about. And I go to get Scrappy. We go riding down the road where the car accident happened, and we're looking just by some miraculous miracle, some excellent timing, perfect circumstance, like usual. Destiny. The hands of destiny. There I see Scrappy riding with these people on a golf cart. There's some people with a golf cart and they're holding Scrappy. And I was like, "There's Scrappy right there. Pull over." And I pull over and it's like, "Oh, Scrappy." And I went up there and like, "Oh, it's your dog?" I was like, "Yeah, it's my dog." And his name's Scrappy. And like, oh, I was like, "Thank you so much." And I got him and got out of there. I had Scrappy. Some miraculous miracle straight off the bat, found the dog first try. And then went over to the car, got some of my stuff out of the car, showed my brother the car accident, called was going to call AAA, but we just went back. I was happy I had Scrappy. I was like, I'm going to bed now. I went back to the house, laid down, went to sleep. Woke up about afternoonish or so, a little bit afternoon, 1, 2 o'clock, something like that, and called my friend, got AAA, called over to go pick up the vehicle out of the ditch because it was free for the vehicle and it was not far, so it wouldn't have been much of a far delivery. It's right over to my brother's house. Could left it right in his yard. Would have been no issue. Called up AAA, and at this point, I didn't know that the guy that I ran from was a cop. I didn't know that. I didn't know that guy was a cop. I thought it was just some random gibberish guy that was chasing me in some weird fucked up universe. Okay, so I had no idea that was the facts, and so I'm going into the situation underestimating what's what's happening here, what's unfolding, because I didn't know any of this because I was suffered a head injury and an accident, and and because we did this and I called AAA, they go show up and the tow truck driver pulls up. It's like, yeah, he pulls up and I go talk to him. And he's like, yeah, but you gotta talk to this guy. I was like, you can tow it, right? He's like, yeah, I can get it out of there, but you gotta talk to this guy pulling up first. And it was a highway patrol officer coming up there, and then I guess the guy that chased me that night came out there. He lived right there at the house, and he came out, and he's like, "Do you remember me?" I was like, I don't know, dude. I hit my fucking head. I don't even know what the hell even happened here. All I remember is just waking up in the ditch and fucking. I don't know. I was just not really ready for anything like this because I wasn't really prepared for it. I didn't think any of this would be an issue or be any problem because there was no I didn't hit someone, there was nothing happened, and apparently the guy was off duty cop or whatever, like I told you before, and they sent away the tow truck driver that I called for, where it was gonna be AAA. I would have had him the destination of choice. Would have told him to put it at my house. I would have been able to fix the damage in the truck, whatever would have been wrong, and it wouldn't have cost me anything. But because they wanted to be dicks, because they were saying that I was drinking. They're like, "You're drinking and you spun off the, you lost control and spun off the road because you're drunk." Because they're in that mode, because that's what they wanted to say. They instantly told my tow truck driver to leave, and they called their own tow truck driver up there and towed my truck over to a tow truck company, right? They towed over there, and they're pretty much gonna keep the damn thing because they got it on a. This is a Friday. They got the truck on. Oh no, it's a Saturday. This is early Saturday, early day Saturday. Or this is Saturday. So they're gonna have a Saturday, and then they're closed Saturday and Sunday. So they're gonna have it there for 2 days. Storage fees, and the storage fees are ridiculous at this place because it's their shakedown facility that they send it to when they really want to get money, from the people when they find someone they want to be a dick to. So they decide they want to be a dick to me, and they're trying to say how I was drunk and smelled like alcohol and jumped over the fence, the electric fence, while he chased me, and he was yelling out police or some shit, but all I heard was just gibberish at the time because my mind was scrambled. I didn't even know I even had my dog with me at that moment. And all sorts of crazy shit. So he tries to get my statement. He wants to get my statement. I told him the statement, what happened. I spun off the road, and how I remembered at this point, because I remembered at this point that the original occurrence of what happened, because after I slept for a while, I remember the incident leading up to it was me going to swerve around a fucking deer that came coming up out of the bank right up onto the road, with taking a step or two up on the road, like curiously, and then lunged, and I went and fucking swerved around it because it was getting in the road. This is all happening in a split second because he's like right here, and I see it, and I just go, "Whoa!" and overreact and swerve instead of just clipping its head with my fucking vehicle and knocking it into the fucking ditch and killing it. Probably, I've decided to just spin my truck hard to the left, and when it did that, because my tires are overfilled and not underfilled, it spun out of control, and I flew into the fucking ditch and crashed. And I remember that now, and I remember telling the I'm not sure if I remember if I told them there, but I remember that afterwards, because this was just, I don't think I remembered that yet. I didn't have enough time for my brain to just get back to a normal state. And so I don't have anything to report, but I remember telling in the report that I had hit my head on the glass and I had a concussion, and I had no idea that the guy that was chasing me was a cop, and I hit my head. I had a concussion, and he decided that he said he decided at this point to write me up for failure to maintain lane control, I think was one of them. There was reckless driving, I think was another one. Some other shit, and then another one. There's like 4 tickets. He hit me with all sorts of shit. Because he wanted to get me with a DUI, but I told him I wasn't drinking, and he got me to blow on a breathalyzer, and said 0. He's like, "I don't believe you. Blowing this breathalyzer. I think you're drunk right now." I'm blowing it, and there's nothing. And just because I'm just a weird person, maybe, I don't know. But ultimately, I mean, I had been drinking, obviously, but yeah, It wasn't that much. Wasn't like life altering fucking alcohol consumption. But yeah. At this point, he writes all these tickets to me. I'm expecting I gotta go to court now, so that I go home and I'm fucked. I'm thinking, they towed my car with their tow truck service, and they got it at their place, you know. And he had to let me go because he wanted to write me up for the DUI. He wanted to get DUI out of it. Obviously, is what he wanted, but I failed to give him that evidence to write me up for that. So he was pissed off, and he did as much as he could to fuck me over. So he had the truck towed over to this expensive facility, overpriced, and it was over there and had my Specialized bike in the back, which is a $1,500 bike, and it's inside of the back of the truck, where under the plywood fucking cover thing, and all my tools are in there, and all my stuff, my FM transmitter, my fucking power inverters, and jumper cables, and all sorts of fucking truck shit that you have inside trucks, and all my shit was in there, and I was like, I don't really care about the truck at this point. I was like, fuck the truck, I don't really care about it, and so I did all anything I could do at this point, which because I wouldn't be able, and they wouldn't let me go into the truck because it was my friend's truck, and he had to be there to do it, to get it or release it or get anything out of it. So I couldn't even get anything out of it. I wouldn't have been able to get anything out of it. So I was like, fuck it. All right. This was, it was 5 o'clock in the morning. I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning. The next night after they towed my vehicle over there, and I went over, and I went inside because it was completely wide open. There was a hole in the gate, and what is wide open. I walked right into my fucking car because it's some old country ran down shack, and went over to my car and opened up the back and pulled out my fucking bike, pulled out all my shit, unloaded everything, loaded up into the other truck. My friend had to ended up selling the truck to me later, and put the shit into that truck and went back over to fucking went back over to what do you call it? Went back over to the house and unloaded everything, and I was feeling much better at this point because I was not having to worry about that truck anymore. I was gonna let them just fucking keep the goddamn thing, bite the bullet, say fuck it, you won. You got this old piece of shit Dodge Dakota that's raggedy as fuck. It's not worth a goddamn dime. I mean, obviously it would have been worth scrap metal value, and it sucks that it was fucked over, but hey, that's life sometimes. Sometimes you get fucked over. But everything was pretty good in the universe at this point, and now I'm worrying about the legal side of this and getting all these tickets dropped. I'm like, these tickets are not going to be good. I can't have these. These tickets have to go. And so I do the most logical thing, as it's the first appearance. This is the first court date into there, so the officer is not even there for that appearance because he's got other shit to do, and the first one's not that important, and it's just usually a courtroom full of a bunch of people all doing a whole bunch of different shit, and you got to sit there and wait through it all. So I get ready for that. I dressed the part. My hair was not as long as this. It was just brown. It was just a little bit long. It was even grown all the way back. I just had it all slicked back. This side was overgrown and slicked back, and everything was slick. I don't think I had this style yet. I was just growing. It was all the same. It's just all slicked back hair, like 50 style slick back shit. And I had my suit on. Obviously, if you go to court, one of the most important things to do is to wear a suit. If you're going to court, you should wear a suit. And you should know that the courtroom is all just a goddamn clown show. Okay? So, if you go in there while all the people are there in the courtroom, you're not going to get a good verdict, you know, as well as you can when the doors are closed and the scene is shut down and there's no one to put on a show for. Okay? Otherwise, they're putting on a show. And so, you get there early in the morning, you get accounted for, and you wait till lunch, and when they go to lunch, you leave. And what do? You come back at around 4 o'clock. Right about 3:30, 4 o'clock, but I showed up around 4 o'clock. And that's when everyone's gone. Because you don't want to be in there. You don't want to be in the room because they're going to call on you eventually. But you want no one to be in there either. So you want to leave and show up later in the day. You want to make sure you're wearing a suit. You want to have your nicest watch. I have my nice fake ass Rolex, which is crown jewel piece, and I have my suit on, tie, and full shebang, full fucking shebang, and I have my file folder, my little file with all my pictures and all sorts of shit that has nothing to do with the case at all. Just a whole bunch of information slammed inside of it. And that's all you need. And you go in there holding the file folder with your suit on and your watch, and you talk respectfully. And what I did at this point is what I did. Obviously I waited until lunchtime, left, didn't come back until later, 4 o'clock when they were closed, and it was only the judge and the lawyers in there, and the prosecuting attorney or whatever, or district attorney, whatever the fuck it was, and you just go in there, and I went in there. And what I told him is later I remembered that there was a fucking deer there, and I swerved at the last second because I saw it, and it spun out, lost control, and spun out and flew into the ditch, and it didn't hit anything. It was an act of God. That's the trick. Act of God. Okay? It was an act of God. There was nothing else hurt. It was an unavoidable situation besides me just hitting that fucking deer and ending its life. It was, an act of God. And so, because it was an act of God, I think, they realized that, and they're like, and I told them the whole story about how the fucking, I was speaking very quick here. I had my whole statement prepared. I remember sitting there thinking about what I'm going to say what I got to say in a short period of time I have to say it. And I was just channeling the flow there. The flow of destiny at this point. Channeling the flow of fucking destiny and saying what needs to be said. And I said all the stuff I needed to say in a short period of time that I had to say it. And ultimately, the prosecuting attorney, whatever, was like, yeah, with everything you say here, there's no one hurt. I don't see any reason to keep any of these charges. And because obviously I put up a good show the whole time, and I told him that I was like, oh, and when you come in, you have to say, oh, I'm sorry, I left my lunch money at home, and I told him I left my lunch money at home in Raleigh, and I had to drive all the way back there and get it, and drove all the way back here, and and now I'm late, and so and so you got to be very apologetic as you walk into their courtroom late, obviously, but that's the best time to get there when all the people are gone, because you don't want to be in a courtroom when they have people to put a show on for. If there's people there to put a show on for, you don't want to be in that courtroom, okay? It's not where you want to be. You're fucked. If they can put a show on for people, it's not going to be a good situation. But the guy said, okay, based on all that, we'll just drop all these charges. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. I didn't say it like that. I was like, thank you so much. That's awesome. I hope y'all have a great day. That's it. That's all I gotta do, right? Alright, awesome. Cool. Bye. Have a great day. Bye. Thank you. And you gotta just know when to just hang up your argument, because he just interrupted me. Like, he got interrupted as I was still talking about the cases, and he just said, I think we don't need to do anything with this. It's obviously Saul had the case that I built up there, because there was no substance evidence for anything. So not maintaining lane control in the act of in an act of God is not your fault. You understand that? So if you would, to avoid killing an animal over maintaining lane control when there's no one else around, that's really not your problem, and it's an act of God. So they ended up dropping that whole thing. So I ended up getting away with that one pretty fucking good. Yeah, because they originally wanted to get me with DUI. And they probably would have had all the other stuff tacked on too. All sorts of shit. They would have tacked on everything. But ultimately, with good knowledge and showmanship and respect, you can end up with a good verdict in your favor. So there you go. And yeah, so that, and all those charges ended up getting dropped. So that's something you want to do. Always bring a folder. If you're going in a courtroom, you want to make it look like you have when you're weak, you want to appear strong. Okay, obviously I was weak there, and when you're weak, you want to appear strong. When you're strong, you want to appear weak. Okay. And most people think that's easy reverse psychology on that, and you could work it either way. You could double work it backwards or forwards, okay, whichever way you want to do. But another thing you want to do, if you get into an accident somewhere and you get to something like this, another thing to learn from this situation is, if there's fire tape, if they put fire tape around your vehicle, fire department tape around your vehicle, AAA is not going to tow it. They're going to call someone. So if you want your vehicle towed by AAA, you need to first pull the plate. Obviously, well, either way, they're probably going to figure it out. But maybe if you take the tape off, they won't figure it out. But probably so. But if they see the tape, then they're going to put up a red flag in their head and not tow it. Or if you've had your own tow truck, you just tow it yourself. But yeah, I was just wondering what would happen if I would have towed the truck out of there. I would have been all fucking scotch-free without having to lose my truck. But ultimately just lost an old shitty-ass truck that had major front-end problems. So maybe that was a blessing in disguise. Everything's meant to be. So that's one of my stories of how destiny worked out in my favor. And because I like destiny so much, I want you to tell me your story of how you fueled your destiny, right? And you should drink Bang energy drink. It's fucking amazing shit in a can. Pretty fucking awesome shit in a can. So there you go. It's got super creatine, and ultra CoQ10, and rainbow unicorns. Who doesn't like rainbow unicorns, alright? Fuel your fucking destiny and vote for Andrew Yang, because who doesn't need $1,000 a month? There's no gold standard anymore. There's countries that print off $100 bills that are ours. They have our printing presses. They make super bills that are perfect in all ways. You'll see them in the market here all the time. Old $100 bills from the 80s. Like, how the hell is this bill from the 80s still in circulation? So perfect. Like, there's no way. Because it's a counterfeit. That's why. And they're all in the market. Their money's worth nothing. Okay? So, vote for Andrew Yang. Get everyone $1,000 a month. Take the fucking boot off their neck. And say fuck the system, because screw it. He's the only non-politician up there who actually has a plan for the 21st century economy and fourth industrial revolution, as he says. But yeah, vote for Andrew Yang. That's another thing you need to do. Very important. Yep. And drink Bang. Vote for Andrew Yang and drink fucking Bang. Those are the two takeaway messages here. That's really what's important in the now. And reserve a Cybertruck. Protect yourself from the rising inflation rate, just in case. So there you go. Even though there probably won't be rising inflation, but that's it. Adios. Bye-bye. Till next time. Subscribe, like my video if you like this video, which I'm sure you did if you watched it all the way to this point. You've obviously liked it. And yeah, hit the subscribe button. That'd be awesome. And I love you. Mwah. Hope you all have a wonderful fucking time and enjoy your life and go with the flow of destiny. And let me know your story of destiny. Let Bang Energy know your story of destiny, okay? Bang Energy. We're Bang. We're part of the gang. We're for Andrew Yang. And we don't speak slang. Ching a chang, bing bang, wah lang, boo zang, la la zang. I don't know. Bye. Love you all. Bye.